welcome to the Fedora Files. I'm Gregory Fedora, and with me is Braeden from McClintock Distilling. And so we are here on location in your new, what do you call this?
This is the McClintock's Back Bar, newly opened cocktail lounge.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love it. I love the feel. Like it's like we're underground kind of.
Yeah, it's got speakeasy vibes without the pretension, if you will. Yeah.
And you don't need to know the secret knock to get in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, open to anybody.
Yeah, I love this. So this is actually my first time here at your establishment, and I was actually at the other area, and you guys are doing canning, I guess. Is that what it's called?
Bottling. Yeah, bottling.
Because you're not a brewery.
Yeah.
So you're doing a bottling. So I found out about you from a couple places. I mean, I've seen you, but I wasn't quite sure. Walking across Carroll Creek, I'd seen your building, and I didn't know if it was like an open to the public kind of thing when I saw it. But then I did a podcast with Fredericks Social and then again with Warehouse, and both of them mentioned you having kind of like they had your product there. And you recently did a pretty cool collaboration with Warehouse. I'll let you go into that more. But one of the things, they made a drink for the Batman movie called the Bruce Wayne, which was really good. And then you did something further with them, if you want to.
Sure.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so we work with a lot of local businesses here across Maryland where we'll do a custom spirit for them. The Warehouse is really fun. It was a very collaborative product. So we got together with them. We talked kind of the vision for the product that they wanted, the flavor profiles. They wanted something that would go in a lot of their different cocktails because they have a lot of very cool cocktails like the Bruce Wayne, like you mentioned. And so we came up with this recipe that was very versatile, very flavorful. It was a lemongrass, dragon fruit, and orange recipe, all natural ingredients. And we put that together, and they loved the finished product. So we put that out under their name, and that's the Underdog Vodka that you can get from them. And it was really, really good because they went through a bunch of different iterations. It had some really good feedback and came up with this very unique flavor that's kind of special to them.
Oh, very cool. Very good. So I was curious, like, how long have you guys been around? How did McClintock start?
Yeah. So me and my business partner, Tyler Hagemeyer, we founded the company in 2015. We moved into the building that our distillery is currently in July of that year. And then about 17 months later, we finally opened to the public. So it took us a while. We're in a 112-year-old building, which is awesome because you get amazing aesthetics like this, but did require a bit of work to retrofit a modern distillery into. And our goal, we had been at this point, we've been in the alcohol beverage industry for about, collectively about 24 years. We've done a lot of stuff, and we wanted to come back to our home here in Maryland and restore a lot of the history and the heritage of distilling here in our state. Because a lot of people don't know, we were at one time the largest distilling state in the country, and we were widely regarded, even up until Prohibition, as making some of the best whiskey coming out of the States. So what we were exporting, what they wanted back in Europe, was Maryland rye whiskey, which is very, very popular. So we wanted to restore that, so our focus is on locally sourced, organic certified ingredients. So we work with local farms to grow these heirloom, non-genetically modified varietals that were historically grown here in Maryland to make historically accurate whiskeys, as well as some really good, organic vodkas and gins as well.
That's really cool. I mean, it's neat because, like, I know some of the history of, like, obviously, like the moonshiners and stuff in the area, and that goes way back.
Yes.
But then that's cool. I didn't know the history that this was one of the biggest distillery states.
It is, yeah. It's kind of like a really interesting history that was forgotten about a little bit. I'm born and raised here in Maryland, and even I didn't know about it, and I was in the alcohol industry. So the more we dug in, the more it was really, really interesting. And it's starting to come back now. I think there's 3 distilleries in the state, including us, that won double gold for our rye whiskey at the World Spirits Competition. So we are starting to get back into that kind of known for producing really high quality rye whiskeys again, which is really exciting.
Yeah. Now, like I saw I was over in your other building. You
Mhm.
have how many different products do you have? Because it looked like a ton. I saw some ones with the metals, and I was just curious. Like I saw some vodkas, but what else? Like what all do you?
So we have our core portfolio is 8 products. So we have 3 whiskeys: a white whiskey, our Bootjack rye whiskey, and then our Matchstick straight bourbon. We have 2 vodkas: our Epiphany vodka, which is our flagship, just a standard organic vodka, and then our Oro, which is a cucumber and lime vodka aged in tequila barrels. And then we have 3 gins, which are our Forager, which is our most popular product, botanical forward gin, our Gardeners, which is a floral and citrus forward gin, and my personal favorite, our Reserve gin, which is a sipping style gin aged in XO cognac barrels. So those are kind of our core products, but what we pride ourselves on is always kind of experimenting and trying new things and coming out with new products. So right now we have a coffee and honey liqueur that we put together. We've done, things as weird as, Dutch style Genevers and apple eau de vie to more standard stuff, like, just different iterations on whiskey using different varietals and aging techniques and stuff like that. So we always got something new going on, which is kind of fun. Keep things interesting.
Yeah. Well, see, I like that, like the experimentation, like that people are doing now. I talked to someone, independent brewer, a few weeks ago, and again, I was talking about how they like smaller companies are willing to try these risks, try things because they don't have to worry, I guess, so much about the overhead. Whereas like a bigger distillery or a brewery and stuff, they can't do that because it's like they have to make mega amounts of it.
Right.
And so then if it's a failed product, they've got all this overhead but when you're smaller like you guys are, like you can try these things and you make a small batch, and then if people love it, like, okay, let's make it a little bit bigger next time. And so
there's definitely always for every one good product that we put out, there's a few batches that did not turn out the way that we were hoping. So that's what's fun, and we utilize a lot of new technologies there that we can experiment with because of the scale of our operation. And those big mega distilleries, if you go down to Kentucky and see the Maker's Marks and Jim Beams of the world, they have a product and they make that product, and there's really no motivation for them to experiment and try new things. And so that's where we like to step in and see what else we can do.
Yeah. And for me personally, I'm kind of one of the people that likes to try new things. I don't like gravitate to, I'm not like, I always have to drink this. It's like I like to try the different things because I'm just one that's like, I'll see the name or what's in it and be like, that sounds interesting. I want to go for that. Like as you were describing these things, I kind of wanted to go buy all of them and take them home. But then I would, like, people would think I was an alcoholic. But I was curious. So you said you guys have been 24 years collectively between you two. Like, what were you doing before this? That
I was distilling as well.
Distilling
So
for somebody else.
Yes, yeah. So I was at a fairly large distillery. I was doing kind of an apprenticeship program under a really good master distiller. And then before that, we had been doing brewing, a lot of stuff. So we've been doing this for a really long time. Our distillery is a little bit unique in that both my business partner and myself are from the production end of things. So we both really like to make products and come up with recipes and really develop this stuff. A lot of the more business side of things, marketing and accounting and reporting and all of that stuff was kind of new for us. So we kind of figured that out with this business, and found out very quickly, got to know what you're good at and got to know what you're not good at.
And then bring on the people.
Bring on the people who can do that, yeah.
So you obviously you've opened this part. What are you hoping next? And like you've won some awards. Where are you hoping to go with McClintock?
So we have right now 3 facilities. So we have our main distillery. We do tours and tastings. We now have this location where we can do cocktails and showcase the utilization of our spirits in mixed drinks. And then we have our 3rd facility, which is for white label product projects. So doing stuff like for the warehouse cinemas. We just started a contract for Old Bay to make Old Bay vodka, which is really exciting.
And very Maryland.
Very Maryland, yeah, very, very Maryland. That's a three company collaboration. between George's Beverage Company in Ocean City, McCormick, obviously, in Baltimore, and then us here in Fredericks, so it really spans the state. And our next goal, we're trying to find another production facility that we can expand our core whiskeys, because our problem, and it's a great problem, is we can't make enough with the system we have, so we're trying to scale up our production. The challenge being we don't want to lose any quality as we scale, and that's really the biggest challenge. Is, like I said, we're able to do these really cool, stone burr milling grains and vapor infusing gins and these really cool small batch things. If we get a bigger system, we need to make sure we're still able to do all of these things that contribute to the high quality of our products.
Yeah. And what makes you guys you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as you were building this, like, when did you sit there and you're like, holy cow, this is amazing? Because like a lot of times, like, things just happen so fast that you don't have that time. But was there a moment where you were sitting there with your partner and you're like, I can't believe we're doing this and it's taking off? And it's
I think it clicked for me. These were recipes that we had been working on for a really, really long time, been tweaking and changing them. And I think 2018, so like a little over 2 years, 3 years after we opened, our reserve gin, won Best Gin in the World at the International Spirits Competition. And we were getting emails from all over the world and people trying to pick up our product. And at that time, we were a 4-person company, just trying to keep up with what we were doing here in Maryland. And we were like, wow, this is really, I think we have something special here. And, we're proud to represent both Maryland and Frederick, on the national, international stage and showcase, the amazing alcoholic beverage industry that we have here. And being a part of that is really, exciting for us. And that's when we really, realize we're a part of this community here, which is special.
So I'm curious, do you have a favorite product of yours that is like your go-to that you really enjoy?
So I'll say I have 2 favorites. So the reserve gin is probably my favorite gin that we do. That combines 2 of my favorite things, which is gin and cognac into one spirit. It's kind of a pet project for me. And then our Bootjack rye whiskey, which is just a classic, it says Maryland, classic pre-prohibition Maryland rye whiskeys you can get, which I think is a really special whiskey for people to try. So those are probably two of my favorites.
Yeah, that sounds good. They both sound really good. Like something that would be enjoyable. Now I'm curious, like, as people listen to this or watch it, whatever, how would they be able to get in contact with you to purchase your products?
So you can always come down to our distillery. We do tours and tastings, tours all weekend, and tastings and bottle sales Tuesday through Sunday. You can find most of our core products at liquor stores across Maryland, DC, and Delaware. And if you're within 30 miles of Frederick, we actually have a delivery service, and we can deliver right to your door.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, so you can order right through the website.
Yeah, and it's like an ice cream truck for adults.
That's right, exactly.
They just come and drop it off at your house.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I'm going to have to remember that.
Yeah.
And so this location is really cool. Like, how did you find it?
So we came in, there was a business that was operating in the distillery at the time, and we had heard that it was coming up and was going to be available for rent. And it was, I'll give credit to my business partner. I am not the person with vision. If I see something, I see something. He has a really good ability to see something and see what it can be. So, we went into this kind of dilapidated old building, and there was old drywall up, and there was paint all over the nice brick that was there, and drop ceilings and dirty carpet and all of this, and he was really adamant and said, this building can be something really special if we put some sweat into it. So we moved in and did pretty much all of the renovations ourselves. We were able to keep the costs low and really turn it into kind of, his goal was to restore the original aesthetic of the building. Which has a really cool story. It was one of the first auto mechanic garages ever built.
Oh,
So
really?
this was 5 years before the Model T was invented. They were fixing up some of the first ever automobiles in the building. And we wanted to restore it basically to that aesthetic. So we pressure washed all the paint off the walls, which took about 2 months, and had to re-pour the floors and basically get everything set up for our equipment, which is very specialized. And it came out to be really, really cool. And we've had, I think we're one of the success stories that the Historic Preservation Society likes to come down and show people, because it really is kind of like walking back through history coming into our distillery.
Well, and that's really cool. Like, because you do collaborations with other businesses in Frederick and throughout Maryland, but then you've also come into Frederick and kind of restored a historic building.
Yeah.
So you're like adding to the community a lot. Like your building's so cool. Like walking by, it could have easily have just been an empty building.
Yeah.
And the history would have been lost. But it's cool that you guys did that and decided not only to take it on, but to bring it back to what it was.
Yeah, and that's my I grew up down the road, but my business partner is born and raised here in Frederick, and we really didn't look anywhere else. We're really involved in this community. We're really connected here, and we try to do everything we can to keep rooted and do what we can for Frederick, because Frederick has done so much for us.
So I have a question, if you can tell us. Now, obviously, you have the Old Bay collaboration. Do you have any other collaborations coming or in the works that you can share?
I got a few more in the works, none, unfortunately, that I can share. This should be about the first Old Bay mention. That NDA expired last Friday, so this will be the first kind of
nice.
coming out.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. So I think, I think the Baltimore Sun and the Washington Post picked it up today. So you're on the front lines of that story, which is exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So I'll have to give you a little taste, and you can tell everybody that it's tasty.
Oh, I definitely want a taste of that.
Cool.
My family, we do every summer. We have a couple crab days.
Nice.
And so we'll have to get some to have it with our crab.
Yeah, it'll complement it perfectly.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So they'll love it.
Good.
Like I'm not a Maryland. I'm a transplant Marylander.
Well, we'll adopt you
yeah,
into being a Marylander with some Old Bay vodka.
Yeah. Oh well, I would love to be adopted that way. It's like my baptism into Maryland.
Pretty much.
So, but I know I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you're busy. But would you like I follow you on Instagram, but what are so they can find you on Instagram, Facebook, and your website if you want to tell people so they can check it out.
Sure. So our website is just McClintockDistilling.com. You can follow us on Instagram at McClintock Distilling and Facebook at McClintock Distilling as well.
Okay, great. Well, I'll add all those links to both the podcast and the video podcast.
Cool.
So people can check you out. And definitely, if you are in Maryland or visiting Maryland, visiting DC, Virginia, or Pennsylvania, come down here because this, I walked through their building. It's phenomenal. It's very cool. It's got a great vibe. And even your new building here, the speakeasy feel is really fun. And I know I have friends who love visiting distilleries, so this is one they have to come check out.
Definitely.
Because it's, like I said, this feel and the location is so cool right on Carroll Creek, and I will be bringing them here.
Yeah, wonderful. We'll look forward to having you.
So those of you listening and watching, I thank you for tuning in, and as always, stay safe and keep searching.
Check out FedoraCRT.com today.